Aren't you glad we talked through our contingency plan?
Yes, I am glad.
Do you think we all need to get off the Wi-Fi that we're all on because we were in seminar on our Wi-Fi? Is that not what's going on?
I don't think that's the problem, but it might not be bad if your device is near.
All right, here we go. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Good job. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for today's open rehearsal. I am Ann Mueller, Artistic Associate for Ballet Idaho, and I'm joined today by several of our company members. We have Cydney Covert, Annika Dahlbrat, Kate Maxted, Madeline Bay, Shane Horan, Leo is over here, and Antonio is over here. We'll do a better introduction of them a little bit later. So we've been really busy at work on our new dance program. New dance happens every year, and I think it's one of our patrons' favorite programs because it gives a sort of intimate inside peek into the company. Company dancers are given the opportunity to choreograph. So those people that you usually see on stage, you get to see what their sort of creative input is like. Today, we're going to share the works of Cydney and Antonio. They started these works just last Monday, so it's only been 1.5 weeks that they've been working. I think you will be very impressed at what they've been able to do during that time. So I'm going to turn it over to Cydney, who can tell us a little bit about her work and what we're going to see.
Hi everyone. As Anne said, my name is Cydney Covert. This is my 3rd year as a corps de ballet member with the company, and my 2nd time actually choreographing for new dance. So 2 years ago I did a piece called Retrograde with Annika and Madeline. So I'm very excited to get to work with them again, and then also to kind of get to expand what I'm comfortable with and create some work that involves duets and more people. And this piece is called See You on the Other Side. And it features music by Sunblood Stories, which is a local band to Boise. And their music was also in Anne's Spectacular Holiday Spectacular. So we're really excited to get to pull from the community and be able to showcase the talent of artists right now. The piece was inspired by the question, what would you do if you were the last humans on Earth? And so these 4 dancers are, in theory, the last 4 people on the planet. And I was also inspired by like our pod system that we sort of have going on right now at the company. The dancers you see here are only ever in contact with one another in the studio. And so I just wanted to explore that dynamic if we knew that it was actually the only people we would have contact with kind of forever. And so it is kind of just an exploration of how relationships can shift and how we turn to different things when we're looking for hope in situations that sometimes seem hopeless. I think that's the best explanation I think
that's an excellent explanation, and we're going to see 2 different sections. Is that true?
Yeah, so today I'm going to show you guys the women's trio with Annika, Madeline, and Kate, and then we're going to get to see the duet that I created on Kate and Shane.
Great, and it is a rehearsal, so we'll do a section, and then you'll get to see Cydney doing some corrections and notes with the dancers and really digging into the process a little bit. All right.
Awesome. Cool. With
Here
that
we
in
go.
mind, here we go. Okay, ladies, I'm gonna play the last 2 counts of 8 of Shane's solo. I'll count you guys in. Awesome. Okay. Thank you, ladies. I have a couple of notes that are mostly to do with timing. I think Annika and Maddie, let's go through your little section. We got off on our scorpion. So we have finished the walk here on 8. Let's go from this part. So this is 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7. 8, 1, 2, grab 3, and this is and 4. Yeah. So 3 and 4, 5, 6 to turn 7, 8. Cool. Can you just see that from your cut on 8? And Kate, can I have you in the mix for your walk around? So we step in on 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Better, yeah. Do you have a question there, Maddie?
And so I guess, I thought this was just 7, 8, but it's 6, 7, 8. That's right.
Let's see. You guys are here 3 and 4. You hit on 5. The step to prep for it is 6. And then the turn itself does happen on 7, 8. So you just have one moment to prep because Kate has to step to get into it from her walks. Should we try that one more time?
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. I'll do the 5, 6, 7 before we cut in on 8. So 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, step 6, 7, 8. Better. Yeah. And then one more moment. I think that just Annika, after you break through your arms here, I think just try and maybe have a wider position whenever you, yeah, so that Kate really has something to sort of meld into. Let's just go through our canon one more time. 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8, and 1. Go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, push 5, 6, 7, 8. Very nice, guys. That was super clean. Okay, let's move on to our duet with Shane and Kate. And I'll play your music from the walls. Okay? Okay. Thank you, guys. Yeah, that was really nice. I think in our second promenade, where Kate has her feet on the ground, we can still just take like a smidge more time so that we're not facing front for quite so long, and so that Shane, we see you leave pretty immediately, and so that it looks like Kate is just stuck there before she sets her feet down. And then similarly, you step back on and 2, and Kate, you set down on and 3.
Yeah.
Correct? The first time that happens, it looked a little layered. It looked like maybe you set down a little early.
Okay.
Okay, can we just try from the wraparound after you do your back bend? So we'll do the back bend. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come up 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 and 2 and 3. Better. Yeah. And then I think when you guys shift to here, it can be really, it should be sharp, but don't be afraid to have a little bit of like breath in that shift so that it's not too stark from what just happened. Does that make sense? So you've set down 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Yeah. Beautiful. Very nice. Yes. One more thing. Just in our transition after Shane, you put your arm in Kate's arm, swing her around. I think just a little more clarity with the feet there so that whenever you guys do shift, it looks really nice. It just seems like a little bit, we're sort of figuring out how to get there. So let's just try that moment. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1. Yeah. Perfect. Great. Okay, thank you guys. Yeah.
Great job, everyone. Bravo. Good. So we're going to do just a couple of questions now with your cast before we transition to look at Antonio's work. So gather round. I'm interested to hear first from Cydney. It's a several-part question. One is, how old are you?
I am 20.
She is 20, which is quite young. So I want to know from Cydney what it's like to be a choreographer who is 20, who is creating on dancers who might be several years your senior and have been in the industry and gained a lot of experience.
So something I think is really great about that is that the dancers just simply have experience, and that means that whenever I'm in a rut or don't know what to do next, I don't know how many times one of them was like, well, what if we try this? Or what if we do a promenade here? Or I spin her around. That is invaluable. That really helps me say, oh, okay, like, let's try it, and then I can continue to create from there. Likewise, it's really nice to be creating on Annika as well, who's only a year older than me, because there isn't as much of a sort of maybe anxiety about I'm talking to my peers, they're older than me. Shane and Kate have known me since I was 14, so that's kind of, you know, weird and interesting.
Yeah.
Just a strange dynamic to kind of go from student to apprentice to actual company member, and then like being the person at the front of the room.
Right. Yeah. And one of the things, I'll just take a moment to be proud of our company members, if you don't mind. When I go from studio to studio, and I know Garrett, who's behind the camera here, he finds the same thing when I go from studio to look at our company dancers creating on other company members. I'm continually impressed at the level of commitment the company members show their peers in the rehearsal process. And I think that that really comes through, and you could probably see that. I could see that in those excerpts that we just watched. So good, pat yourself on the back. Yeah, good job. Great. And then I'd love to hear from somebody in the cast who's interested to talk. What's your side of that? Like, how is it to work with a peer choreographer?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on what you said about the commitment. Is a lot of the dancers, not everyone, but a lot of dancers enjoy choreographing, and they yearn for this opportunity. And I think it helps that we know how much they are excited about this opportunity, that we want to make it as smooth and make it what they want it to be.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Bravo. Anyone else? Anyone else? Great.
I guess I just wanted to say, in terms of like the reverse aspect of being one of the older dancers, getting to work with Cydney is like so fun because she has this really natural, organic way of moving. And I think when you are a younger dancer, sometimes you still have a little bit more of that because you don't have as much experience, and you're just like, yeah, like just do it like this. And it's nice to like get kind of back in touch with that, I guess.
Yeah.
So it's been a really fun process.
Excellent. I also, I feel like I observe that they all know her and her movement style really, really well. So it's a different type of experience than if they were working with the choreographer that they'd never worked with before, who just walks into the room. There's a big learning process that happens there. Whereas here, you know, they know each other very, very well. And I think that that helps kind of accelerate the process, which is great because we only have 2 weeks to put this program together. So yeah, so good. Wonderful, guys. I think let's do a little round of applause for you. Awesome. And now let's transition to Antonio. So this is Antonio Carnell, and this is his first time as a new dance choreographer. He's choreographed before, of course, but first time for new dance.
Great.
You were an apprentice last year, you're a company member this year, and now you're choreographing. So that's been quite a lot of professional development in the past year.
Lots of changes in the last year.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about your work.
Yeah, so, well, first of all, this has been such an incredible learning experience, I think not just for me, but for everyone involved. There was lots of twists and turns that we had to take during this process. I think that when I came into this process, knowing that I was going to choreograph, I had something kind of set in mind of what I wanted to do already. And over the course of the creation process, I kind of realized that some of those things needed to change. That I have new dancers and I have new costumes and new music, and I wanted to do something that was completely new. It's never been done before. I think my original idea was to bring back something that I had choreographed previously, but I really wanted to do something new this time. I had these two great dancers that I really wanted to find out how they move together and how we all move together, as there's a group section as well. So it's been a really exciting learning experience, but also just kind of invigorating also.
Wonderful. And I believe you're going to show us the trio section first.
Correct.
So Antonio's doing double duty with this piece, because in the first section, he's both choreographer and he dances in the section.
Great.
So give us just a moment. We have to do a little adjusting with our sound setup, and then we'll get ready to show the trio. All right. Be interesting. Great. Are we plugged in? Okay.
I think it's, yeah.
Do a little sound check. Great. Okay. I'll give you guys an and.
Let's go this way.
In the big space. Okay, you guys ready? Yeah. All right, here we go. We'll continue on.
Take your time. Nice and big full circles here. Connect. guys. All right. Good job, guys. Yeah, just a couple of things. If we could take a look at my favorite part, the lunge part, going through rainbow connection, up and over, really filling out all of the space and connecting with that back leg before continuing forward. I think if we just really show all the corners, I think it'll just kind of really complete this look a little bit. Can I just see that? Down, we have, yummy, 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 and, good. Much better, down, good. Right, and then we're still using that moment, if we are falling, right, to catch yourself before coming back up, yeah? Just really make sure you plant that hand down, yeah? Good. Can we take a look at the corner moment with the arabesque into monster claw? So this one over here, Monica's move, arabesque, into this guy, yeah. That's another push. And then out of that push, we go up and over into that arabesque. Really show that line before switching up and over. Good, good, good. And I think because we're already headed down to the floor, if we could maybe have a bigger lunge there too. So you have your arabesque and then your lunge, maybe a bigger lunge there. Yeah, before rolling down. Yeah.
Great.
Better. Good. Yes, good.
Great job, you guys. Bravo. Good. So, Antonio, I guess maybe you guys can all talk about this, but I'm really curious. You have a pretty distinctive gestural sequence that happens. Can you tell us, maybe you guys could show us slow motion what the sequence is?
Yeah.
And then maybe you can tell us what's behind it.
Yeah, so even in the first group section, we do this phrase too. It's kind of a phrase that makes little appearances throughout the whole thing. But we've been calling them different things for the purpose of rehearsal. But we have this first one is our peanut butter fingers. So we go out and we're scooping the peanut butter, and then we're showing the OK sign, and we're pulling the OK sign in over our eye, and then reversing with our number 2, and then bringing it in for lipstick. And then we're placing a lipstick on the mouth. So all of those little individual moments, they mean something special to me, right? I wanted to show a lot of things in this. I think that I was looking for something very simple. I think that sometimes as dancers, we get so caught up in counts and steps and moves and all things that we don't, that are important, but that we forget to focus on the beautiful little moments that are happening. And I really wanted to use these little detailed moments to really just kind of show the beauty and simplicity. Beauty and simplicity, really showing all these little details. So the peanut butter fingers are, showing I'm going to the future, or where I'm going, looking towards I'm going. And then the OK sign is showing that even though maybe we look okay from the outside, sometimes we're hurting on the inside. Yeah. Right? So pulling it in is like really looking into yourself. The lipstick is simply just kind of figuring out how you pull yourself together in the morning and you go to work and you do your regular thing. But just all these little detailed moments that are very important, but the whole picture was simplicity and movement. And I really wanted to show that with those little movements.
And I'm imagining that you're going to have a lot of fun playing with those sequences on film in particular, because you can really help focus the viewer.
Definitely.
Very cool. Well, let me check in with Garrett and see if we have time for any questions from our viewers. Have we received any? We haven't received any. That's okay. We can come up with more questions. Let's bring Cydney back and have Cydney and Antonio both talk to us a little bit about what their creative process has been. I think that's something that lots of people want to know, and it's really different from person to person. Like, how much did you pre-plan your steps? Did you make stuff up on your own body and then come in and teach it? Just talk a little bit about how that's worked.
So
Fun fact, Tony and I have been involved in a lot of creative processes of other people together. We both have worked for Project Flux with Lydia Sokolsky-Baskell, worked for LED with Lauren Edson, so we have sort of had like up-close looks at how these people create work. For me personally, I know I made like the beginnings of each section except for, I think the duet with Madeline and Annika, which you guys did not see, but I made those before I came in, and it was just like 2 counts of 8 or so, and then once in the rehearsal I kept adding, but I wanted to have input from the dancers, instead of just being like only movement that felt natural and that I thought looked nice on myself, but also stuff that was like, oh, Madeline has contributed this, Shane has contributed this, and then that creates something that feels like everyone has provided creative input for, instead of just like me kind of vomiting stuff all over myself.
Right. And the reality is you're one single body, right? And you're working with a group and you're working with partnered pairs, so you can't possibly figure out all the mechanics of that, even if you wanted to.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
How about you?
Same for me. I think that I really wanted to make sure that it looked good on everyone, and everyone felt good doing the movement, not just me. So I wanted to make sure that it was very natural for the people, the individuals, the dancers. I think there was even, so during the rehearsal process, I started working on movement over the Christmas break, because we had all this time. So I started working on the movement at home, and then when we had our first Zoom rehearsal, we took that first day to, I gave them a list of words, and they created an action to go with those words. So we had a little punch moment. That was the moment that Leo had choreographed. And then I called this little arabesque moment, Annika's moment, because she choreographed that. So it was really, really more of a collaborative process. I think also was I gave the outline, but they really helped kind of shape the inner works of the dance. So it was cool to kind of have that time to kind of picture what I was thinking, but also to come into the studio and have the dancers give their input and come up with their own work and make it natural to them as well.
I'm glad you brought up Zoom, because I think that's an interesting thing for people to hear about. We are back in the studios, and we have all of our protocols in place so that we can work safely here in the studios, and we're using all of the space we have to the best of our ability, but we're still having to rehearse on Zoom some of the time so that we can keep the integrity of our pod structure, and also because we are working with some choreographers that are with us virtually. So Ashley Baker, who's a company member who's also choreographing on this program, is in Seattle. She's working with us through Zoom. And our guest choreographer, Usha Marie Sorzano, is based in LA, and she has been working with our dancers on Zoom as well. So we're using all means possible to create work here, and I'd love to hear actually from any of you that have input on this. I'd love to hear a little bit about the experience of Zoom rehearsals and how you have found them to be productive, and if that productivity is different than what happens in the studio. So anybody, how about you guys come back?
And we did get a question related to this, and maybe how has COVID possibly benefited the creative process in these constraints?
Excellent.
Yeah.
So a related question from a viewer about how COVID has affected or shaped our creative process. So let's work that into our response. Madeline, we haven't heard from you yet.
Okay. These are my pieces, obviously, but after viewing yours once and a half, I've seen some of it in the studio, and knowing what yours is about, I think that the rep is definitely related to some of the feelings that we're feeling during this pandemic. So yeah, I mean, art can sometimes come during hard times. Really good work can come through hard times. So
That's when we need it most.
Yeah. We need it most, and also, we've got a lot to say right now.
Yeah, excellent. Anyone else want to talk about the experience of digitally rehearsing?
I think it provides a new mental challenge, as we've all experienced. There's a lot of, because the way the camera captures the person moving on one screen, it flips it. So we have to use our brains harder
Yeah.
to reverse it
Yeah.
for things like
Yeah.
that.
There's also a timing delay that I think in speech is barely noticeable, but when it comes to music, it's very, very noticeable. So trying to communicate and clarify and set any musical information over any internet protocol, I guess, is really, really challenging. So that's something we've all been trying to figure out since the springtime.
Yeah. And it also really just sets us up if there's ever like some other setback, like we will be familiar with working in this way.
And also too, you know, for us to know that it's possible to work with a choreographer like Craig that's across the, you know, Atlantic Ocean, that we can figure out how to make this process work. So it could open up a whole new possibility of people that we get to work with in the future. So silver lining. Right. Okay. Did we have any last questions from our viewers?
Yeah, we did kind of address it, but if you wanted to add anything on this topic, the question was, do the choreographers base work at all on the dancer personalities? We talked about dancer contributions, but maybe the personality.
Do the choreographers base their work or parts of their work on the personalities of the dancers they were working with?
This time I definitely did. There are some other things to consider, like within the pods, we have partnered pairs, so people who are supposed to touch pretty exclusively. That's just like a health and safety thing that we do. But yeah, for instance, like the ladies trio, there's a moment where Kate sort of breaks away, and I wanted that to represent just like Kate trying to find her own path. And I'm not sure if that's something she like actively does. I'm not sure if that's something she actively does, but I do think, yeah, I think everyone is very independent. There's another section you've not seen with Madeline sort of as the focus. Definitely base that off of her personality, but also just her way of moving is like very luxurious and fluid. She kind of has the craziest facility I've ever seen. She can pretty much do anything. So at times that can feel limitless, and that's overwhelming, being like, oh my God, I could do anything right now. Like what do I do? But you definitely take it in stride as you like try and come up with things and make it personalized for people. Yeah,
it's been really, really cool and really beneficial to watch. We have class together, obviously, we're all a pod, but to watch the dancers that I chose in class, I wanted to kind of take little pieces and parts of them that I've noticed that I really love about them. Annika has these beautiful classical lines when she's in ballet class, and when you turn that into something a little more contemporary, it's beautiful. So Annika has this really beautiful, just two things that are really beautiful about her. You know, the ballet, the very classical, and then the very contemporary, which is why I wanted that arabesque in there. And Leo has these beautiful chaînés when we're in class together, and I noticed that I wanted to incorporate kind of this swirly chaîné moment. Definitely for him, and he has these beautiful arms, and I wanted to incorporate that. So I think that, yes, that was a big part of it too, was really kind of watching each other and learning each other and knowing each other, you know, previously or new, you know. So, and kind of figuring out how to make something to form everyone, or to be for everyone.
I think too, going back to the pod structure, we have 3 pods within the company, and though we've done a little bit of changing over the holiday break, for the most part, the pods have stayed the same since we started in September. So that's kind of an unusual thing, that this group of dancers has been dancing with each other on every program so far. So 3 programs in a row. So I think there's like a different sort of familiarity and a different richness and a different trust in the way that you guys are working together. So there's another silver lining. We're feeling very positive today. Great. Anything else? Okay, well, if you are already a subscriber, thank you so much. We really deeply appreciate your support. If you're not, we would love for you to consider becoming one. You can also rent our programs for this season individually. So please check out our streaming channel. You can visit our website to get there. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you again. Thanks.
Okay.